He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. We've seen that combination many times in the past 25 years. A series that was a worldwide phenomenon, spanning 6 seasons, 2 specials, and of course a movie. From having toys fly off the shelves and into the arms of boys and girls alike, to having the most video games out of any Cartoon Network franchise ever, beating Ben 10's 11 games by just 1. It's fair to say that the Powerpuff Girls did way more than enough to stay in the eye of pop culture, to the point where I believe that even people who have never seen the show are aware of them.
The only thing that's going around my head is fighting crime, trying to save the world. Here they come just in time, the Powerpuff Girls.
If you showed a picture to your mom, chances are she'd recognize them. But what about the rest of Townsville? Yeah, your mom may be able to recognize Mojo Jojo, but what about Fuzzy Lumpkins, Princess Morbucks, the Green Gang, the Rowdyruff boys? If I'm being completely honest, her recognizing Mojo Jojo might even be a stretch. Throughout 25 years of history with these girls, we've rarely seen the world through the eyes of someone else. And the one time we come close to doing just that, it was cancelled for budgeting reasons. Hashtag save the Powerpuff Girls. This is where the term spin-off comes into play. A spin-off allows fans of a franchise to see that world that the franchise is in through a completely different perspective. And no, the reboot and anime don't count because those shows keep the girls front and center. So out of all the citizens of Townsville, do you think the Rowdyruff boys deserve their own spin-off? Let's jump all the way back to April 7th of 1999. It was your typical week for the Powerpuff Girls. Mojo had been causing crimes and getting thrown in jail, time after time after time again, growing more frustrated with each defeat. Jojo's plans just weren't working. No invention he used, no plot he schemed, nothing. He needed to try something else entirely. Something that could level the playing field. Something that would give the girls a taste of their own medicine. So what would this evil genius do to make things even?
Well, the Powerpuff Girls. Well, let's see now. 8 cups of sugar, a pinch of spice, 1 tablespoon of everything nice, and now this one's important. Accidentally had a drop of chemical X, and voila.
That's it?
And despite being given the exact ingredients he'd need to create his own Powerpuff Girls, he desires something more sinister. He would create the Rowdyruff boys, and would give them one mission, and one mission only, and that is to piss off the Powerpuff Girls. Something they would do for the next 2.5 decades. The boys were tasked with beating up the girls in their debut, a task that they would succeed, but not for very long, because eventually the girls were able to outsmart the brash little children by giving them the cooties, ew, which I guess was just one ingredient too many, because like Bunny, moment of silence, like Bunny, the boys would prove to be unstable. You know, who could have guessed that trying to make children with armpit hair, puppy dog tails, rancid snails, and a freshly used prison toilet could lead to their demise? The Powerpuff Girls would go the next 4 seasons without bumping into the boys again. But unlike Bunny, they were brought back a few seasons later, but this time weren't fathered by Mojo Jojo, but by him. And by him, I don't mean that guy over there, but you know, him, as in the actual guy, him, the big red, long guy, that guy, yeah, that one. Beforehand, they didn't really have any development. They all acted the exact same way as one another. I mean, to be fair, they didn't really have any chance to show off their personalities because of how little screen time they originally got. But now they're different because they are more unique to each other and have their own personalities. Plus, they have new hairstyles now, so that automatically makes them cooler. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. That guy makes the rules. Spare me, kill him. Insurance is cheap.
I love the young people.
This new portrayal of the Rowdyruff boys had more to offer than the original, so they end up being featured in more episodes as series regulars. So because of their popularity, we get to see them a lot more often than we were before. In the 5th season, we see them have their egos inflated so much that they turn into giants. We see them reject Princess Morbucks, which led her to finally becoming an official Powerpuff Girl. And we'd even get to see Boomer get captured by the girls and Bubbles pretend to be him so they wouldn't notice. They noticed. But by that time, we were heading towards the 6th and final season, where we would finally have the question I've wanted answered addressed. We'd finally find out who the boy's real father is in the Season 6, Episode 12 episode titled Custody Battle, where him would be spending time with the boys in the park for Father's Day. Until Mojo Jojo found them together and found out that the boys were still alive after all these years. After all these years. But they both end up fighting back and forth trying to prove which one is more unsuitable to be a father. Which bears the question, who is their true creator? I mean, Mojo created them, but that version of the boys died at the end of the 1st episode. Yet when Helm brought them back to life, they still remembered the previous altercation they had with the girls. They don't look how they did when Mojo first made them, so who really is responsible? Are these even the same boys as before? Well, we're about to find out. The results are in. In the case of Boomer, Brick, and Butch, Mojo Jojo
are not!
Okay, but in all seriousness, the episode ended in both him and Mojo Jojo being proud fathers together as they watch the boys fly into the sunset and their never-ending quest to destroy the Powerpuff Girls. And that's the last time we get to see them in the series. By the time the original series came to an end in the mid-2000s, the network was already looking for a show that could be marketed to both boys and girls. And I feel like the Rowdyruff boys would have been the perfect way to bridge that gap. But at the time, Craig was just ready to end the series and move on to different ventures. Yet the hopeful part of me still believed that we could actually get that Rowdyruff boys spinoff. But unfortunately, that never came to be. And maybe that's for the best with Craig being gone. We all know what happened the last time someone who wasn't Craig McCracken created a Powerpuff Girls series. So instead, the Rowdyruff boys will live on in the Powerpuff Girls reboot, the comic books, and they'd even appear in the anime. And I have no doubt that they will continue to appear in the new series that Craig is working on. Because I truly believe these boys have a lot more story to tell, and having a spin-off for a mini-series from them could be great. So really, any of these characters could be used to show the world a different perspective of Townsville. And if that ever happened, I'd be really excited to see it. Anyways, would you be down to see a Powerpuff Girls spinoff? And if so, who would you want it to be with? I'd love to hear your opinions, and thank you so much for watching.
Now, Burger King's got twice the stars. Dragon Ball Z and Powerpuff Girls, both in your Burger King Big Kids meal. Collect each Super Action star, 2 at a time, when you purchase any Burger King Big Kids meal. Featuring, for a limited time, great tasting chicken tenders and fun-to-eat shapes, stars and lightning bolts. And if double toys aren't enough, look on individual toy packs for your C-Tune code for an exclusive Dragon Ball Z and Powerpuff Girls C-Tune on CartoonNetwork.com.